Queen Victoria was born on May 24, 1819, in Kensington Palace, London, England, and became Queen in 1837 at the age of 18. She was the only child of Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, and Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld. Her father died when she was just 8 months old, and she was raised by her mother and her mother's advisor, Sir John Conroy. Her childhood was somewhat lonely, and she was educated by private tutors. Queen Victoria was married to her first cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, on February 10, 1840. The couple met for the first time in 1836 when they were both 17 years old. They fell in love and were married just 4 years later. The marriage was a happy one, and the couple had 9 children together. During her reign, Queen Victoria oversaw significant changes in Britain, including the Industrial Revolution, the growth of the British Empire, and the development of constitutional monarchy. She was initially quite inexperienced and relied heavily on the advice of her prime ministers and other advisors. However, over time she developed a reputation as a strong and capable leader, with a keen interest in social and political issues. In 1848, Queen Victoria's Prime Minister, Lord John Russell, introduced the Public Health Act, which led to improved living conditions for the poor. The act allowed local authorities to regulate public health and sanitation, which helped to reduce the spread of diseases such as cholera. The Great Exhibition of 1851, organized by Prince Albert, showcased Britain's technological and industrial achievements and attracted millions of visitors. The exhibition was held in the purpose-built Crystal Palace in Hyde Park, London, and featured over 100,000 exhibits from around the world. It was a significant event in the history of the Industrial Revolution, and helped to cement Britain's reputation as a world leader in industry and technology. Queen Victoria was known for her love of family and domestic life, and she and Prince Albert had 9 children. She was a devoted mother and was deeply affected by the death of her husband in 1861. After his death, she wore black for the rest of her life and largely withdrew from public life. She was rarely seen by her people and was widely criticized for her seclusion, which earned her the name, Widow of Windsor. In 1867, the British North America Act was passed, creating the Dominion of Canada, which consisted of Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. The act granted Canada a large degree of autonomy from Britain, although the country remained part of the British Empire until 1931. In 1877, Queen Victoria became Empress of India, a title that she held until her death. The title was granted to her in recognition of Britain's control over India, which had been established through a series of wars and annexations over the preceding century. During her reign, Queen Victoria became a symbol of stability and continuity, and her image was used on stamps, coins, and other official documents. Her image was also widely reproduced in art and popular culture, and she was a subject of fascination for people around the world. Queen Victoria was known for her strict adherence to Victorian values, including a strict code of conduct and a belief in the importance of family and morality. She was a devout Christian and was deeply committed to her role as Queen and head of the British Empire. In 1887, Queen Victoria celebrated her Golden Jubilee, marking 50 years on the throne. The celebrations included a procession through the streets of London and a banquet at Buckingham Palace, attended by representatives from around the world. In 1897, Queen Victoria celebrated her Diamond Jubilee. The celebrations were a major event, and she received congratulatory messages from around the world. The celebrations included a procession through the streets of London and a Thanksgiving service at St. Paul's Cathedral. The Queen's health had been in decline for some time, and her family was concerned about her ability to participate in the celebrations. However, she was determined to be present, and her appearance was a source of inspiration to many. In 1899, Britain became involved in the Second Boer War in South Africa, which lasted until 1902. The war was fought between the British Empire and 2 Boer states, the South African Republic and the Orange Free State. Queen Victoria was a strong supporter of the war effort, and many soldiers and civilians looked to her for inspiration and support. Despite her declining health, Queen Victoria's later years saw her more active in public life, and she continued to correspond with her ministers and advisors. She was particularly concerned about the plight of the poor and advocated for improved working conditions and social welfare programs. In 1892, Queen Victoria's grandson, Prince Albert Victor, died of pneumonia at the age of 28. The prince had been considered a possible successor to the throne, and his death was a great blow to the royal family. Queen Victoria was deeply affected by the loss, and it contributed to her declining health. Queen Victoria's reign saw significant changes in the role of the monarchy, with a greater emphasis on public relations and image management. The Queen was careful to maintain a dignified and respectable image, and she was often photographed and painted in formal attire. Queen Victoria's reign also saw significant developments in technology and communication, with the advent of the telegraph and the telephone. These technologies allowed for faster and more efficient communication, and they played a key role in the management of the British Empire. In 1901, Queen Victoria died at the age of 81, after a reign of 63 years. Her death was widely mourned, and she was buried at Windsor Castle. Her legacy as a strong and capable leader, devoted wife and mother, and symbol of Victorian values has endured to this day. Her reign became known as Victorian England. Queen Victoria's reign saw the growth of the British Empire, with Britain acquiring territories in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. However, this expansion was not without controversy, and there were significant debates about the morality and ethics of imperialism. Queen Victoria's reign also saw significant social and cultural changes, including the growth of the middle class, the rise of mass media, and the emergence of new artistic and literary movements. These changes had a profound impact on British society and culture, and they continue to influence the world today.